Hello, today we're going to talk about divisions. Now remember that the field is the background of the shield, and the idea of arms is that they should be distinctive, but simple forms of just one colour or a simple pattern on the field don't really offer enough flexibility. So today we're going to look at splitting the field into two parts and giving each part a separate colour or pattern. Now there are simple ways that we can split the shield into two large parts. For example, vertically. We can do per pale, gules and or, and we get it split into two parts vertically. We can use and to make it clearer, or we can just start listing the colours. Similarly, we can use per fess to split things horizontally, or per bend to split it on the diagonal. And remember, these terms are consistent all the way throughout heraldry. Less obviously, we can also split the field into even parts in four ways. We can do it quarterly, and we can do it per saltire, which is this shape. We also get a near even split if we use per chevron and split the shield this way. All of these things I've called major divisions, and you can see these in the visual catalogue listed under divisions, and I've called them the major divisions here. Can we split things three ways? Well, yes we can, and again we can use those terms that we are already familiar with. So we know that splitting things horizontally is per fess. We can say tierst in fess, a particular heraldic term being split into three ways. This time obviously we have to give three colours, so let's add in a bit of azure, and you won't be the least bit surprised to find that we can also tierce in pale and in bend. And in fact we can also tierce in chevron, which gives quite a nice effect there. There are other ways of splitting the shield into three different colours. In the visual catalogue I have referred to those as divisions of multicoloured divisions. That's what I've called them. And there's the complete set here. Per pile is particularly interesting because actually we can use per pile with either two or three colours. So that's per pile with three colours. If we get rid of the azure, we can also use it just with two colours like that. We're not restricted to plain colours for divisions. We can use furs or even treatments. We've seen before quarterly, ermine and pure that we can use, and that gives some nice effects like that. We can also use treatments. We don't have to have furs. We can just use plain colours as well. As we can say ermine and gules. That looks quite effective as well. We can also use treatments on divided shields. However, there is a small bit of syntax that you need to know. There are two ways to define a treatment. We can say, for example, pattern, colour and colour, so we've got here checky, ghouls and ore, but we can equally say ghouls, checky, ore, so you can give colour, pattern, colour, and you get the same thing. So that's exactly the same thing. That's fine when we're talking about a simple, just a single thing that we're colouring, but what if we said per pale, ghouls, checky, ore, and we wanted azure on the left. Now this is that works fine. But what if we wanted to use the other construction and say azure, checky, ghouls and ore? Now in this case we can't tell whether this blazon is azure, ghouls and checky, checky, azure and ghouls on the left hand side and ore on the right hand side, or is it azure on the left and checky, ghouls and ore on the right hand side. So there's an ambiguity there. We need to resolve that. Let's just see what drawshield actually decides to do, and it's decided that azure, checky, ghouls is the default, but if we wanted to actually make it clear that we really just wanted azure on the left hand side, or on the dexterosity, I should really say put a comma in a list of colours, and that separates out the colours. So when we draw that now, it's azure followed by checky, ghouls and ore. So we can use treatments, we can combine furs and treatments. Spell that correctly. And that gives us a lot of flexibility. Now there's yet another trick that we can do with divisions, which is to use two of them. So let's just use per pale again, and we'll just do sable and ore, black and white, like that. That's per pale. We've also got a smaller division called Chevrony, which is lots of little chevrons that looks like that. That's quite a nice pattern. What happened? We can actually combine those two. We can say per pale, sable and ore. Now we can't just give Chevrony another colour because that would overwrite things, but what we can do is use the special term counterchanged, and what that does is effectively gives you the opposite colours, and that gives you some quite nice effects. There are some quite neat things that you can do with counterchanged divisions. All the divisions are listed in the visual catalogue. We've already seen the major divisions and the multicolour divisions. There are divisions made up of lots of bars. This is the Chevrony that we've just looked at. You can actually specify the number of bars in most cases, and they will just get thinner and spread themselves out neatly. We've got diary divisions. Again, you can specify the number. You can get some quite psychedelic effects with these, especially if you combine it with other counterchanged divisions. There are a whole bunch of lesser used divisions that only change a small part of the shield. There are many more of these that drawshield doesn't yet support, particularly many variants of Piley, but there are one or two here that you have got the option to use, and there are also divisions that have a lot of overlap with treatments in that they are two colours, but for largely historical reasons drawshield tends to treat these as divisions rather than patterns. So that's all I really wanted to tell you about divisions. Altogether, DrawShield supports about 30 different styles of division, and each part of those division can take any of the heraldic tinctures. In an earlier video we calculated that there were about 6,000 different patterns and furs that we could put onto the field. Now that we can split the shield into 2 or 3 parts, there are 6,000 times 6,000 times 6,000. We're already up into the millions of possible shields that we can draw. So there's plenty of opportunity there for you to find a combination for your own unique field, and that's before we start looking at ordinaries and charges, which we'll be doing in later videos. I hope you found this useful, and share and enjoy your heraldry on the DrawShield website.